The Iraqi dinar at a historic crossroads for decades. The story of the Iraqi dinar has fascinated, frustrated, and tested the patience of investors, currency watchers, and ordinary holders alike. It is a journey shaped by war, sanctions, economic uncertainty, and countless waves of speculation. But what we are witnessing today feels fundamentally different from the cycles of rumor and recycled chatter that have defined the conversation for years. For the first time, credible signals suggest that a true turning point may be unfolding. The mood among dinar holders is shifting rapidly. Where once there was only endless waiting, today there is preparation. Where doubt once prevailed, now there is cautious optimism. Unlike the vague online whispers of the past, the latest updates carry substance. Financial institutions are not just getting ready, they are in position. Systems are active, staff are briefed, and communication channels are alive with direct messages, emails, and calls urging holders to be ready. This is not theory, it is practice. And that marks the beginning of a new chapter. A long road of waiting and uncertainty. To understand why the current developments feel so significant, one must look back at the long and difficult journey of the Iraqi dinar. Following the Gulf War in the early 1990s and the US-led invasion in 2003, Iraq's economy was thrown into disarray. Sanctions, political instability, and years of conflict kept the country's currency weak and undervalued. While Iraq is blessed with immense natural resources, particularly oil reserves, the challenges of rebuilding a war-torn nation left its financial system fragile and dependent on external oversight. In this environment, the dinar became the subject of global fascination. Investors, particularly retail holders, clung to the belief that Iraq's currency, suppressed for so long, would one day revalue or reset to reflect the country's true economic potential. This belief fueled an entire ecosystem of speculation. Newsletters, online forums, conference calls, and endless predictions about the date when the revaluation would finally happen. For years, these predictions came and went. Holders grew weary of broken promises, recycled rumors, and self-proclaimed insiders offering intel that never materialized. Many began to doubt whether the moment would ever come. Yet despite the fatigue, millions continued to hold onto their currency, sustained by the conviction that Iraq's economic story was not finished. From passive waiting to active preparation, the tone of today's updates marks a sharp departure from that cycle of speculation. Reliable reports indicate that banks and redemption centers are not merely preparing for a possible event. They are ready. Systems are live. Technology platforms for processing exchanges have reportedly been tested and activated. Staff are trained. Institutions have briefed personnel on procedures to ensure exchanges are handled efficiently and securely. Holders are being contacted. Verified calls, emails, and notices are reaching individuals, urging them to review documents and prepare currency for exchange. This level of preparation suggests that the long-discussed process is no longer a distant possibility, but an active rollout, unfolding in carefully managed phases. Early exchanges under controlled conditions adding weight to these reports are accounts emerging from certain regions where exchanges are said to have already begun in controlled environments. According to these accounts, select groups are being processed quietly in what appears to be a staged rollout. This strategy makes sense. By introducing exchanges in phases, logistical challenges can be identified and addressed before the process expands to the broader public. It prevents overwhelming financial institutions, ensures security, and allows for a smoother experience overall. For many dinar holders, these early reports are the strongest evidence, yet that the long wait is truly nearing an end. The process is no longer confined to discussion boards or speculation. It is happening in real time, step by step. What holders should do now for those who have not yet received direct communication? Frustration would be easy, but it would also be unwise. This is not the time to despair. It is the time to prepare. 1. Examine your currency. Ensure that your dinar notes are genuine, intact, and in good condition. Redemption centers will expect clean, undamaged bills. Sorting and reviewing them now can prevent unnecessary delays. 2. Update identification. Valid identification will almost certainly be required. Passports, driver's licenses, or other government-issued IDs should be checked for expiration dates and renewed if necessary. 3. Organize documentation. Proof of purchase, receipts, or any supporting paperwork should be gathered and stored in one secure, easy-to-access folder. 4. Create a financial plan. Think ahead about how you intend to use your funds. Where will you deposit them? What debts should be paid first? How much will be set aside for savings or investments? A written plan will provide clarity during what could otherwise be an overwhelming moment. 5. Seek professional support. Engaging with a trusted financial advisor, tax specialist, or wealth manager is critical. Many who suddenly acquire significant funds make impulsive choices that erode their wealth. Professional guidance can help protect principal, minimize taxes, and ensure long-term security. Preparation today will determine the smoothness of tomorrow's experience. A matter of mindset equally important as the logistics is the mindset with which holders approach this moment. This is not simply the end of a long wait. It is the beginning of a new chapter, one that requires responsibility, discipline, and foresight. Sudden access to large sums of money can be both liberating and dangerous. Countless studies show that lottery winners, inheritance recipients, and windfall beneficiaries often lose their gains within just a few years. The temptation to overspend, make poor investments, or trust the wrong people can be overwhelming. The key is to approach this opportunity with humility and discipline. View it not as a one-time cash out, but as the foundation for long-term stability and generational wealth. This is the chance to secure not only your future, but also the future of your children and grandchildren. Iraq's broader economic journey. It is important to remember that this process is not just about individual profit. It is part of Iraq's larger story of recovery and reintegration into the global financial system. For years, Iraq's currency has been restricted by international sanctions, political instability, and the effects of war. But reforms are underway. The Central Bank of Iraq is modernizing its systems, strengthening regulations, and aligning more closely with global standards. These reforms are aimed at fostering stability, reducing corruption, and attracting international investment. The revaluation or adjustment of the dinar is therefore more than a technical monetary event. It is a symbol of Iraq's progress towards sovereignty, stability, and economic dignity. Each holder who participates in the process is, in a sense, part of this national renewal, helping integrate the dinar into the international marketplace. Staying vigilant against scams, periods of transition often attract opportunists. Scammers will attempt to exploit excitement and impatience by promising special deals, faster access, or higher exchange rates. These are red flags. Never give currency to anyone outside of official redemption centers. Do not provide personal or banking details through unofficial channels. Verify phone numbers, emails, and appointment details directly with your bank. Remember, legitimate institutions will never pressure you to act quickly or sign documents you do not understand. Your caution and vigilance are just as important as your preparation. Protecting yourself from fraud is part of safeguarding your future. Emotional significance beyond the financial aspects. It is important to acknowledge the emotional weight of this moment. For many, exchanging the dinar represents closure, an end to years of waiting, speculation, and doubt. It also represents possibility, the ability to finally provide security for family, pursue long-deferred goals, and step into a new season of life. But emotional highs can cloud judgment. Take time to breathe, reflect, and remain grounded. Resist the urge to rush into large purchases or drastic lifestyle changes. Let the initial excitement pass before making irreversible decisions. Wise choices today will provide greater freedom and stability tomorrow. Uneven rollout and differing rates reports suggest that exchange procedures may vary by region, institution, or timing. Some holders may hear of different rates being offered under certain arrangements. This variability can cause anxiety, but the key takeaway remains: the process is happening. Each completed exchange adds credibility and momentum, moving the event closer to wider participation. Do not let comparisons distract you. Focus instead on your own preparation, ensuring you are ready when your opportunity arrives. The Iraqi dinar has long been a story of endurance, years of patience, speculation, and uncertainty. But the signs emerging today point to a new reality. Systems are live, institutions are prepared, communication is active, and early exchanges are reportedly taking place. This is not just the end of waiting, it is the start of something much larger, both for individuals and for Iraq as a nation. For holders, the path forward requires preparation, discipline, and wisdom. For Iraq, it represents a step towards stability, sovereignty, and reintegration into the global financial community. The first chapter of this story has been defined by patience. The next will be defined by preparation and responsibility. As this process unfolds, success will not belong to those who rushed or speculated wildly, but to those who prepared carefully, acted wisely, and managed their new opportunities with vision. This is your time. Approach it with clarity, humility, and foresight, and you may transform years of waiting into a lifetime of stability.